We got an opportunity to visit with Spencer Wirt, or as you call him, the Meat Dude. This conversation is always brought to you by All Saga Meats. You can find them in Audubon, Minnesota. Spencer, is there a white one out there? Did you get all the snow as well, or did you luck out?
No, it's white,
Mm.
pure white, everywhere.
I can tell you're already over it just by the tone in your voice. Or are
Yeah.
you one of those guys that's like, hey, I've been waiting for the snow, man, because I'm not there?
You know, last winter was so brutal,
Uh-huh.
and it throws a wrench into everything. These little storms. Not to say that this is a blizzard by any means. Travel is still able to be conducted, but it's just bringing back like flashbacks of how bad it was last winter. So yeah, it's not fun.
Does say a severe weather event when it comes to winter, how does that impact your industry? I mean, I think about the hanging, and then the processing. I imagine, is that scheduled out pretty routine, or is it, hey, like if we don't get to that one hanging today, don't worry, it'll be there tomorrow?
No, that's the wrench that gets thrown into the cog of the machine. Meat doesn't wait for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
When it's time to go, it's time to go. So yeah, you plan out every week on what needs to get done, and if you got to be closed in the middle of the week, you got to pick up them hours somewhere else, whether it be a weekend or whatever. What has to get done has to get done that week. So, there's really no
Mm-hmm.
flex there. So when these storms do happen and we have to be shut down, yeah, it throws a wrench into everything. But
No doubt. Well,
we are in North Dakota, so you got to plan for it.
we did choose to stay here for those of us that were born here. There's no doubt about that. If you have a question for the Meat Dude, 35270. That's the Adventure RV Text Club. You want to call in, that's cool. Lady studio line is 237-5948. I don't know if this is a new record, but I think during the morning crew with Doug and Robbie, there was a question for the Meat Dude already. So I'm going to get that one out of the way, and I got more coming in right now. Tyler, question for the Meat Dude. What is your preferred cut of meat when you go out to eat, and why?
Ooh. Huh. Honestly, I usually don't order steaks when I go out to eat unless that is like the restaurant's claim to fame. Um, Usually going to be some form of dish, whether it be pasta, still with beef, or I'm a big seafood guy when I go out to eat because, I stare at beef and eat beef all week long. So seafood's kind of fun when I go out to eat. But not very often do I order a steak. And if I do, it's going to be flat iron if they have it is number one choice. And then, yeah, I don't know. I can't even tell you the last time I ordered a ribeye at a restaurant. It has been a very long time. So if I'm ordering a steak, it's going to be flat iron. That's about it.
Okay, well, let me ask you why. I get it. Yep, you process beef every single day of the work week. Is that it? Is it just because, oh, look, I've seen this enough. I've been around it. I just want to do something different? Or is it because they can never cook it the same way you would if you were at your house?
It's a combination of both, right? Because I mean, my family's main protein source is beef as well. So at home cooking, that's all we eat pretty much is beef. There'll be some chicken and pork every once in a while, but we rarely have seafood at home. So when I go out to a restaurant, that's why I try to do something that I don't have very often.
You know what I've noticed in the week after week that you and I have been doing this now for like 5 years, 6 years. I don't know how long we've been doing this. It's been a while. I appreciate you hanging in there. Is more of these questions come out to just people want to learn more about you as a man versus actual meat preparation, cooking techniques, what to ask your butcher, what not to ask your butcher. So thank you for peeling back the layers of the onion of who Spencer Wirt, the actual Meat Dude, is. We love
I
getting
still think we haven't. I still don't think we've gotten very deep in the onion, which is good. So,
all right. That's because we haven't got your wife out here into the studio, and we have that couples therapy as we talked about. We can pull in meat and the dishes into this as well. I got questions coming in for you. Tyler, question for the Meat Dude: how do you get that outer crust when cooking prime rib?
high dry heat is pretty much the only way to get that nice sealed crust. So if you're baking it, blast that oven as high as it can possibly go, which is usually like between 5 and 550, I think, on most in-home ovens. If that isn't getting you to where you want it to be, then you're going to have to use a stovetop, something direct, hot metal on the meat in order to get that nice crust and nice sear. I've usually been able to accomplish it in the oven just by blasting it at that 5 to 550. Also, another thing you could try is the broil option on your oven, direct hot heat shooting onto it. That should get that nice crust, and depending on your seasoning, you should get some color and some nice presentation there to trap all the meats and juices, or not the meats, trap all the juices inside the primer. But yeah, that'd be what I would do.
Blast it with heat. That's what I heard through that texture.
High dry heat. Yeah.
Tyler, question for the Meat Dude: how accurate is sell by date, use by, or freeze by on meat products? Thank you.
I love that question. And in the past 5 years, this has probably come up lots and lots of times, and I think it's still a huge misunderstanding of consumers. Those sell-by dates, use-by dates are a quality guess based on the producer of the product. So grocery store puts their own label on the product. They have a certain set of standards that they want their quality of product to be sold as. And once it gets past that time frame, that's the date that they put on the label. If the product goes past that sell-by date, it's still completely wholesome, completely fine to eat. The quality just might start being on the downhill slide. Sell-by date, use-by date, both of those are kind of interchangeable. You'll see freeze-by date. Package date is also something that you should bring into the realm as well when you're looking at labels. So not only just sell-by date, but package date, so you can kind of see that window of where it's been sitting and for how long. Mm-hmm. But no, that sell-by date is not, this is the end of this product. This is just where quality is starting to deteriorate, but it's still completely wholesome and fine to eat past that date.
What's the one you pay the most attention to, the packaged date or the sell-by or freeze-by?
Package date for sure.
Yeah,
because that sell-by date is not a standard by any means, because there's so many variables that go into shelf life. So every company has their own parameters. Every grocery store has their own parameters. Every meat has different parameters. So that package date is more important than the sell-by date, because you can decide, well, if this package date was and it's still fresh and it was 2 weeks ago and it's pork, even though it's vacuum sealed, there's going to be some quality issues that you could possibly definitely see. So package date to me is more important than sell-by date, 100%.
So this got my mind turning, because you can walk by in these grocery stores, you'll have these just crazy deals, right? And I think the last one, pork chops are something you often see, hey, huge discounts. And what's the first thing that comes to your mind when you see that big markdown, like the buy one, get one, and it's a 12-pack of chops, right? Are you thinking, hey, they're just trying to push this because they packaged it and they need to move the product? Or is it still in your mind, hey, this is just simply the market prices?
I think it's a surplus thing, and I think grocery stores do a great job of marketing meat in order to get people into the door, and that's the biggest thing that you're going to see those big ticket item sale prices on. So it's more of a supply demand thing than this is on the end of its shelf life, so we're going to put it on sale and try to move it as fast as possible, because they'll put sales on before they even start cutting, because they need to prepare for those sales. So if they put pork chops on sale on a Monday, the week before, they're ordering all that product in preparation for the huge sales that they're going to have. So it's not as simple as, oh, it's on sale, that means that it's almost bad. It's more of it's really marketing at the end of the day. So it's kind of fun, kind of interesting to look at it that way.
That's one way, but that's kind of fun.
Yeah,
Tyler,
everything's fun.
question for the Meat Dude. One more time. How do you cook that flat iron steak?
Cook it like you would any other steak, but you need to be a little more cautious of temperatures. And what I mean by that is flat iron is finicky when it comes to underdone or overdone. If cooked correctly, it's one of the most flavorful tender steaks that comes out of a beef. But um, input that I've heard from consumers over the years that if it's overcooked, the flavor is almost too rich, which is a strong beefy flavor. It just surprises people in a steak. And same thing if it's undercooked, it's going to have that super strong beefy flavor that might turn some people off if they're used to eating sirloins or ribeyes or strip steaks. So medium rare is kind of the sweet spot on a flat iron. Cook it just like you would a normal steak. Use a thermometer to monitor your temperatures. Take it up to about 135 probably. Let it rest for 10 minutes off direct heat source so it rises up to that 140, 145, and then slice and enjoy.
Slice and enjoy. Spencer, I always enjoy the time catching up, man. Let's do this again next Thursday, all right?
Sounds great.
All right, take care until then. Spencer Wirt, the Meat Dude. Every week, this conversation is brought to you by All Saga Meats. I'd encourage you, if you're out in the area, or if you want to make the drive this weekend, stop on out. Certainly tomorrow, it's TGIF. They got 10% off all the goods. Tell them we sent you here on Afternoons Live.